Hey everyone, this is Matthew Gann with the Program Guys podcast. Thanks for tuning in and want to give a quick update from our sponsors, the Sooners Shirt of the Month Club, offered by thefanstop.com. Get new and officially licensed Oklahoma t-shirts, long sleeves, and hoodies delivered straight to your doorstep monthly. Their shirts are super comfortable and super soft, so highly recommend getting your gear for the upcoming season. They have two plans. The standard plan only includes t-shirts, but is only $21.95 per month. Their premium plan includes long sleeves and hoodies between October and February and is $26.95 a month and always free shipping included. They are Oklahoma-based and have over 30 other colleges that are available for the Shirt of the Month Club. So check them out at thefanstop.com and use our code DAGUYS, spelled D-A-G-U-Y-Z, DAGUYS, to save 15% for the first 6 months. Thank you so much for listening.
3, 2, 1, go!
There's not one guy, one person in the history of this program that's bigger than the program.
What's better than this? Guys being dudes.
What's up, and welcome into episode number 22 of the Program Guys podcast. My name is Mason Prince. I'm joined with you, as always, by Patrick Hertzberger, Matt Gant, Ryan Tyson, no Mark Hall. He's on a cruise in the Caribbean, going to Mexico, I believe. But speaking of Mexico, that's where Patrick is right now, dedicated to the Program Guys. Patrick, what city in Mexico are you in right now?
I am south of Playa del Carmen. Had to make it. Nothing's bigger than the program, not even Mexico.
Freaking dedicated.
First international pod.
That's right, man. First international pod. We've had Matt in California. We've had me going across the country, but now we're crossing lines. Shout out to Patrick. Be sure to like and subscribe on our YouTube channel, on our Instagram page, on our Twitter at Program Guys with a Z. On all of those, be sure to also find us on Facebook at Program Guys, or the Program Guys podcast, I should say, on Facebook. As always, we really appreciate you guys liking and subscribing. That helps us out more than you know. Today is Wednesday, June 8th. Game 3 of the NBA Finals coming up tonight. Boston Celtics, Golden State Warriors tied at 1-1. I can't believe it's 1-1. I really, really thought that it was either going to be 0-2 Warriors or 2-0 Celtics, because after that first game and the Celtics pulled out the win, I didn't think they were going to lose game 2, because and we'll get everybody's thoughts on this, but I'll just open it up with this. You watch the game and the Celtics are the superior team. In terms of the team, they are the superior team. Steph Curry is going to do Steph Curry things, and he's going to go off and he's going to set NBA records. That's fine. He's not going to do that every night. You know what I'm saying? The Celtics, I've never seen a team so good, so inept at making halftime adjustments. I tweeted it the other night. Ime Udoka, I don't know what he does at halftime. He must go in the locker room, take a dump in his hand, to be like, great job, guys. Let's go on out there. Like, he makes zero adjustments to make his team better in the third quarter. And it's not just one game. It's not two. It's like every game they get dusted in the third and then have to claw their way back in the fourth quarter. I have never seen anything like it. Someone else talk, because I'm mad.
Yeah, tell us how you really feel.
It was infuriating.
That was beautiful, Mace.
God, I just don't understand. Someone help me understand, please.
Listen, I talked about in the last pod. I said the Celtics were the better team, but the common phrase or the common word has been inconsistency. When they play on right, they're shooting the ball well, playing good defense. They are far, far better than any team in the NBA right now. But that's what happened in game 2. Game 1, they came out. They were down, by 12 going into the third quarter, had that insane fourth quarter rally in the first game. They looked like they could be unstoppable. Second game, they come back. I mean, they're, down by 2 at halftime, and then they come out and get smoked in the third quarter, and that's pretty much the game. So it's just one quarter can make a massive difference in the finals, but I just don't even know who to pick at this point. I said the Celtics in 7, but really at this point, it's a toss-up. I mean, I still have Celtics in 7, but at this point, I have no idea.
Pat and Ryan?
So Boston coach came out and said that he was using Popovich's playbook for the finals. Did you see this?
Oh,
No, I
not
didn't.
necessarily his like playbook,
Yeah,
but
weird
like
thing
his,
to
but
say.
like
his like style
yeah.
or whatever.
Okay.
And ever since he said that, I'm like, I don't like Boston doesn't have like the veterans that San Antonio did
No.
at the time. And like, it just isn't the same team like at all. Like Boston has superstars. San Antonio never did. I mean, Tim Duncan, I guess.
Yeah.
But like, I don't know if that's going to work the same way. And I know he probably meant it as in like Popovich is this like 5-time reigning coach and like we're utilizing like that. I don't know. It just didn't sit right with me. So I'm with Gan. I don't really know who's going to win this at the end of the day. I think this is more of a Boston series to lose than it is of like a Warriors series to win.
Yeah.
I think if Boston plays the best they can, they'll win. And I think if they don't and they make mistakes and they don't adjust and they do the things that we've seen them do all postseason, but somehow squeak through, the Warriors are a little bit better than some of the other teams that they've done that with. So,
Pat.
Yeah, I had this series ending in 6. Definitely not going to end in 6. I think we're going definitely to 7 for sure. Super fun
Probably.
series to watch and excited for the rest of it.
So my biggest takeaway from game 2 is the Celtics can't continue to turn the ball over like that and have even remotely a shot at winning games. They just can't. It was so bad. And they were so poor with their passes. Even Marcus Smart, who's one of the better passers on the team, had like 3 passes. He just threw it to Golden State people. And it just made no sense to me. And another big thing that is going to have to change is the Warriors are not scared of their physicality. And you know why they're not scared? Because Draymond Green's an asshole. He doesn't care. And that's a respect thing. Like Draymond Green knows what he's got to do and he's got to be an asshole. And credit to him. I saw Nick Wright. I'll give credit to Nick Wright on First Things First with Fox. He's been doing this all postseason. He gets a technical foul early in the game and the refs give him a leash that long because you don't want to be the guy who ejects Draymond Green. That's what he's done this entire playoffs, and he did it again in game 2. He should have been ejected. A technical foul is a technical foul. He should have been ejected. I don't care. I don't care what kind of semantics you want to play, but he's smart. Draymond Green's not an idiot. He knows exactly what he needs to do to make his team will themselves to a victory and throw the other team off course, and that's by being an asshole. So credit to Draymond Green. Celtics got to respond. And credit to Marcus Smart. He said in a press conference on Tuesday afternoon, we got to be more physical. We got to match their physicality, and called out Draymond by name. He goes, we know what Draymond's going to do. That's his MO. It's always been his MO. We just got to match it. So hopefully the Celtics know what they got to do now, because dude, it was obvious that Draymond was desperate to get that win, and no one was as desperate as he was. And that's why they won. Because he gave them the juice that they needed.
yeah. And I mean, like, I don't know anyone else who brings that kind of energy. I mean,
No one, not
across
Steph.
no one.
Not Steph. Yeah, not Clay. Like they don't scream at people and call them bitches. You know what I mean? Like Draymond is up in people's grill, like barking at them. He's a smart dude. He knows what it takes.
I think like Matt was making a motion. Or were you talking about Luka?
No,
the
Steph
shimmy.
Curry
The
shimmy.
the Steph Curry shimmy. I think Luka might have that energy too, but
Yeah.
like they're obviously gone. So
Yeah.
Don't talk
Well-
about my Mavs that way. Come on, man.
Yeah,
You know how I
his
feel.
your
Mavs.
Mavs.
All
Your
right,
Mavs.
so I'm sticking Celtics in 7. That's what I have, and that's what I think is going to happen. Look, I wouldn't be surprised if Boston wins both games in Boston. I wouldn't be,
I
because
wouldn't
they're
be
the-
surprised if Boston loses both games at Boston.
I know-
I literally
that's fair.
don't know.
Or they
I
split
don't
fair.
know.
I mean,
this could go
I think they
anywhere.
split it. I think
the Warriors very much so thrived off the energy in San Francisco from their crowd, and I think that's a greatly underestimated tool for a team that can hit shots. Boston can hit shots just as well as Golden State can when they're in their home environment and their crowd's behind them. I think it's going to be a little different. I'm not saying there's going to be blowouts by any means, but I think Boston's going to play a lot more better and a lot more controlled and have control of the game from the opening tip. So that's where
Well,
we're at.
you're saying 3-1 coming back to Golden State then.
I wouldn't be surprised. But then I wouldn't be shocked if Golden State got desperate and won 2 in a row and we're at 7. You know what I mean? Like it's just going to be that kind of series. I don't see any way that it doesn't go 7 because neither team is dominating the way that they should be. Like,
they're just
go ahead,
inconsistent. It's inconsistencies.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was just gonna say the Warriors had to play desperate, right?
Yeah.
They couldn't have gone down 2-0, or the series probably would have been gone by then.
Yeah.
And fun fact, Steve Kerr has never been down 2-0 in a playoff series.
Wow. I didn't know that.
So, I mean, obviously they played like it the other night, but definitely a huge win for Boston to take one, to steal one, go back to Boston 1-1. That's a win for them, regardless.
He's been down 3-1 before, right?
I was going to say,
never been down 3-1. Let's not bring that
one
up.
end, Matt? I really don't know how
guys,
did that one end.
One of the best, worst games I've ever been to. Part
You were
of
there?
Clay's.
You were there.
Part of, well, not game 7, but game 6. So, you know how Clay's got his like game 6 like phenomenon, right? He just goes off. I was there in Oklahoma City, 2 seats behind the court. Big flex, not to say anything, but 2 seats behind the court. He goes off for, I think, 11 threes in that game. It was the most mesmerizing thing to watch, even though Oklahoma City's Thunder lost that game. Watching Clay do his thing was unbelievable. But yeah, he's just got a thing for game 6s, so can't fault him.
We'll see what happens in the NBA Finals. Game 3 coming up tonight. Game 4, I believe, is on Friday. I think I want to say
sometime this weekend.
Sometime this weekend. So
Are they doing 3 days in between each one?
No, they did a long break because of travel for this one.
Okay.
I think they're going to go back to. I think they originally went Thursday to Sunday. They did do 2 days for game 1 and 2. So maybe, I don't know. NBA's weird. They're gonna drag it out as long as they can. Shout out to Adam Silver. Those calls were egregious. I see you, Adam Silver. I know what you're doing. You're a fraud. You're a fraud, Adam Silver. Okay. Moving on. NHL update. Stanley Cup playoffs. The Edmonton Oilers fall to the Colorado Avalanche in 4 games. It was a sweep. They are moving on to the Stanley Cup final. No S for those of you who don't know hockey. That wouldn't be Matt Gann, though. Matt, Rangers and Lightning, what's happening there?
Yep. So they are playing, or they did play. So we'll determine if the Lightning can even up the series by this point. So they will be down, or even the series at 2-2, or they'll be down 3-1 to the New York Rangers. Now, the Lightning are 2-time defending Stanley Cup champs, and they were down in the previous game 2-0 heading into the third. They actually came back and won that game, so that was big for them. Got to even it up tonight, but shout out to the Avs. I don't know if listen, I challenge you guys
I watched
to watch.
last night. I was with Denver.
Tell me about it.
Night. I
Was it not electric?
Oh, it was crazy.
It was for, I think it was sometime.
I left in the third quarter. It was wild.
Well, you missed the best part.
Third quarter. I love you. I love you, man.
Guys, the third period of that game, there was a 10-minute stretch where there was 5 goals scored. It was absolutely back and forth. It was wild. Ended up going to overtime. The Avs scored a minute and a half in to end that series in the Oilers' hometown. They're the best team in the NHL right now. I don't see the Rangers or Lightning standing a chance against the Avs. That's my 2 cents.
I agree.
Perfect. Thank you, Matt. Also, shout out London Bulgarelli, biggest Colorado Avalanche fan that I know.
Huge Avs fan.
Shout out to, he's my little. Matt Gann's big. How about that?
The fam, baby.
I forgot you guys were related.
That's right.
Well,
that's right. That's some douchey.
I don't know. Mason kind of picks and chooses when he claims Gann.
He does. He does pick and choose.
I have to pick and choose. Some OU football news, guys. The Champu barbecue was this past weekend, and OU had a big time recruiting weekend. I was listening to some people say how it was a massive weekend, but it's not going to look as massive on paper just because OU doesn't get commitments from these guys. Yeah. Because that's OU's MO. They just are telling guys not to commit until you're 100% going to be there. We've already discussed this, talked about that in length. So let's just go through some of the guys who showed up to that past weekend. Anthony Hill, he's a linebacker, 2023 linebacker from Denton, Texas. He's the 15th ranked linebacker in the country, a 5-star. So he was there in Norman. Peter Woods, he's a defensive lineman, 6'4", 265. He's class of 2023, 22nd nationally, also another 5-star. Another 5-star is Richard Young, He's 5'11", 200, class of 2023. He's from Florida. Looks like we're going up against UGA and Bama for that guy. So if you're going to be a good program, you got to win those recruiting battles like that. It's going to be tough for a guy from Florida, though. And there's a couple more 5-stars I want to get to. Is David Hicks, defensive lineman from Katy. He's a 5-star, 6'4", 270. Samson Okunlolo. Let's go with that.
This is good.
Let's go with that.
As close as you can get.
Brockton, Massachusetts, 6'5", 305.
Jesus.
Number 33.
That's a big boy.
Yeah, that's for a senior in high school. That's
a big boy.
A big human. He's an offensive tackle, and he's number 33 in the country. There's a long list, and we can go through that if you guys want. But anything stick out to you guys from anything you heard over that past weekend?
I mean, we're definitely competing with Georgia and Bama for a lot of these guys. And so it'll be really interesting to see how we're doing going into the SEC, competing with Bama and Georgia, to see if we can already start stealing some recruits. And notably, we have. So I think at the end of the list, we have Keon Brown. He is a 4-star from Florida, and we took him from Bama. He had a great time out in Alabama. Saban gave him the offer. And then I think a day later, he committed to the University of Oklahoma. Saban is shaking in his boots. He is not ready for Venables in the University of Oklahoma to join the SEC. He just stirred. He is stirred up.
That the hot take of the week? Is that
no?
Just like
no, it's not yet.
Saban is still in just like PR classes until he dies.
The Brown guy. I don't think we have what's the position for him?
I believe he's a wide receiver.
Wide receiver?
I believe he's a wide receiver.
I think. Okay. Or is he a corner?
Well, I think I saw the commitment too, but I think the biggest thing I take away is how big some of these guys are. I think we already mentioned that. I think the biggest thing that Venables wanted to do was first start with the trenches, which offensive tackle, defensive line. I mean, some of those guys on the list are 300 pounds and probably incredible athletes, right? So that's definitely what we need up front. That's where it starts. So hopefully we can get some of those guys in. I know that's one thing that is kind of up in the air right now is how the O-line is going to play this year. What is Bill Beanabo going to do? Can he continue to recruit at a high level, especially with BV and all these other recruiting guys coming in? So if we can get some of these big guys on here, I mean, just think about when we won the Joe Moore Offensive Lineman Award a couple of years ago. Those guys were big. Those guys were nasty. That's what we need to get back to and have that kind of quality on both sides of the line. So it's good to see we got some good quality guys coming in. Be interesting to see who we can snag up.
The fact of the matter is, sorry, Ryan, I'll just make this point and then I'll move on.
Go for it.
The fact of the matter is you have to get top tier guys to compete in the SEC. You're going to have to. And you better start those recruiting battles sooner rather than later. There's no point in being like, oh, we'll just stick with our Texas pipeline and maybe get some guys in California. Like there's no reason to do that now. You know you're going to be there eventually. So why not get started on it now? Build relationships with those high school coaches, build relationships in Florida, in Georgia, in Alabama with all those kids. And that's what they're doing. And lucky for Brent, he probably already has some relationships. And those coaches, Todd Bates, Miguel Chavis, probably already have some relationships out there that we aren't really talking about. So credit to those guys knowing what it's going to take. And this is just another example of them knowing exactly what they're going to have to do to compete at the highest level and compete for national titles. It's something that I didn't think the last regime knew how to do. Plain and simple.
Bates is definitely already proving that as well, getting Peter Woods. He started that relationship at Clemson, and it looks like, I mean, I would hope that he comes to OU just because of that.
Yeah.
And so just to follow up, Keon Brown is a wide receiver.
Yeah.
I like the biggest impact that I think just this list has and what makes it so different than I think our previous ones is all of these like 5-star defensive athletes, which you love to see because we have, what was our last 5-star defensive?
Buki, probably.
Was it Buki?
Probably.
Really?
We all know how that turned out. So, I mean, I love it. I mean, you're going down this list and you got Anthony Hill, Peter Woods, Richard Young, like the big offensive tackle, like 5-star guys. I mean, this is like huge stuff, and they're not all 5-star quarterbacks, five-star wide receivers, all that kind of stuff. So I think we're trying to balance out a little bit more because we still have really, really great offensive talent, from like our previous regime. And just gaining that defensive talent that we also have, I think is going to be great to balance our team out.
We're not delusional here, folks. Like, we know there was however many 5 stars there for the Champu barbecue. Not all those guys, maybe none of them will be at Oklahoma when they come through. But it's the fact that they're coming to Norman, and they're coming to Norman to talk to Brent Venables, and they're coming to Norman to talk to Todd Bates and all of those guys and all those coaches to see what this is all about, see what the new regime's about. And getting those guys on campus it can't be a bad thing. It can't be.
That's the first step.
Yeah, I just wanted to say one thing.
Go ahead, Matt.
Before we get off OU. I wanted to fill in for Mark here today because Mark is great when we're talking about OU football, the culture, and coming up with some great quotes for some staff members, coaches, whatever it is, just showing you how the change is coming about. So I want to read a tweet from Miguel Chavis that he tweeted actually today, a little bit earlier in the afternoon. Mark, when you listen to this, I know you'll be proud. He says, OU Nation, when a DE or outside linebacker I'm recruiting commits to OU, it's not because of me. It's because they believe OU football is the best place for them to get a degree, enjoy college, win a championship, and be developed as a future NFLer and man. Our staff, players, and y'all get the credit. So it just shows you right there how the culture is shifting. I love to see it. I think Michelle Chavis, Todd Bates, all the guys that we recruited in are going to be great great getting recruits moving forward with that kind of attitude. I absolutely love it. Mark, when you get back, give me a double thumbs up for that great quote. Okay. Miss you, buddy.
He'll do it right when he gets back.
Definitely give you a thumbs down.
Man. No, you did good.
I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. Good, last thing here, though, DeMarco Murray, I do think that he's kind of the difference maker moving forward. I mean, and he has already proven to be just for these running backs, these 5-star running backs coming in. And I can't wait to see more of that.
Okay. I'm so excited to get to the Circle the Wagon segment because.
Oh, wait.
Go ahead, Pat.
We got DG.
Oh, yeah. DG. I was so excited that I tried to move on. Thank you, Patrick.
No
Shout
worries.
out to Patrick, producer Patrick, not letting me move on. Dylan Gabriel was quoted this past week giving some praise for Brent Venables and saying some pretty cool quotes. I got them in front of me right now. I'll just read them off for you. Quote, having a defensive-minded head coach is definitely different, said Gabriel. It opened my mind to a lot of things, a lot of situational football. I just feel like it's so pure. It never really crossed my mind. I just feel so comfortable being able to talk to him, just being able to go out there and talk to him regardless in passing or just going up to his office, not feeling closed off about it is a super good feeling. That's just the kind of guy BV is, man.
Love that.
Yes, he's a defensive-minded coach. Yeah, he was a defensive coordinator for how long? But I think it goes to show that he's not going to close his door to anybody, no matter what position you play, and that's what you need to do. I kind of get the feeling that Lincoln wasn't super involved with the defensive guys in the past. Feel like he didn't really have their ear a whole lot, and DG is starting to show that BV is starting to show that he's not that same guy.
So many initials.
I know, dude. So many initials.
I just think, as Patrick would say, these are good vibes.
Definitely.
They are. Good vibes.
They're good vibes. They're good vibes all around. There's just, like we keep saying every single week, everything that comes out of this team is just good vibes right now. So again, we can't like be 100% sure until we see him on the field. But right now, feeling good.
I'm so prepared to have them come out and win by like 40 the first 4 weeks or something like that. And then
every game.
And then like, if they drop a game, I'm not kidding. I'm going to be crushed. Like
Me too.
It's going to be, it's not going to be a fun pod. I'm going to be very upset.
We're crushed every.
Yeah, but I'm way more invested now than
this one's going to hit harder.
Used to be. I'm way more invested. Like, I love OU football. I bleed crimson and cream. I absolutely do. But dude, since BV got here and like re-energized people. He did it on purpose. Everyone cares so much more now, but the losses are going to hurt that much more if there are losses.
Yeah.
And the wins are going to be so much more greater though. So like
Yeah.
it kind of balances out, I guess, but that's just the way I feel.
My this is a little side conversation, but my mom and dad have season tickets, and they just like released it this week. You have to like put in for like if you want additional tickets to games, and they're like capping it at like 6 additional tickets, and you need them in like next week. This is like June,
Wow.
like mid-June.
Wow.
Like
Yeah.
they've never done it this early, and they've also never capped it before, I don't think. And so I was just talking to her today about it, and I was like, people are excited, and you can like tell, like 76,000 or whatever at the spring game, and like locking up tickets in early June. I looked at a hotel the other day in Norman for like the Baylor game, and it was like already booked up. It's crazy.
Wow.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
Good
You can always
thing
stay
we
at my
have
place.
the Gann household to bunk up at.
That's right. Stay at the Gann household, man. Gotta love it. Speaking of the Gann household, it's time to circle those wagons,
That was
man.
good. That was good.
I'm back. I'm feeling
back.
it, guys.
You're
I'm
back.
feeling the juice.
You're back, baby.
And I'm ready to hear Matt's thoughts about the arse whooping that the ladies and the men's baseball team have put on them folks. Tell me right now.
I'm going to. Guys, it was a huge weekend for both OU's men's baseball and softball. But before I jump into it, I have to give a quick shout out. OU's golf men's head coach, Ryan Hibble, won coach of the year. Gotta give a shout out, even though the season didn't end the way that they wanted to.
You can call it what it is. They choked. You can call it what it is.
Yeah, very sad. But again, great honors. They won a bunch of individual award, team awards. So happy for them. I have to give a shout out to Heil because every time I see him, he always mentions OU's track and field. They've qualified for, he's huge into it every time, but they've qualified for 20 different events for like the national meetings. So gonna have to do some more research to see, when exactly that is. I think it's coming up pretty quick to really figure out which ones that OU might be in the lead for. Ryan.
Dan, I think another thing on golf, and you might be getting to this, but didn't 2 of our guys qualify for the U.S. Open?
Yeah, but they're not there's one former OU guy, and then Chris Gotterup, I believe.
Okay.
Might have gotten it. I'll have to double check it, but correct.
Yeah.
Former OU guy for sure.
Okay.
But I had to give some quick updates on those other sports before we jump into just the 2 biggest programs that are in the playoff portion or the postseason of their sport. So guys, start off with OU's men's baseball. Guys, they just keep exceeding expectations. It is absolutely wild. This team might be the hottest team in college baseball. Not trying to be biased, but they on fire. How they started off the regionals, they whooped some Liberty Eagles 16-3.
I was worried about that game.
I was.
Yeah, they smoked them.
Absolutely. Not even close. Play the next game. They beat Florida, who is hosting the current regional in Gainesville. Beat them 9-4 in the first game. They had to wait for the winner for Florida and Central Michigan. Florida ended up winning. They played again, so they had to beat OU twice to move on to the Supers. Ended up being OU in the first game, 2-7. They came back the next day for their elimination game. Guys, it was 3-1 Florida, top of the 7th. Rain comes in, delays for 5.5 hours.
Crazy.
5.5 hours. The game started at 12 o'clock Central and did not end until about 9 o'clock at night.
Yeah.
Crazy.
I saw a tweet that they asked like the players what they were doing during that time, and like a couple of them said they napped and then watched OU softball, which is just
that's cool.
A fantastic answer.
Tough.
Yeah. So
what else are you going to do? Yeah. So they come back to the top of the 7th, which OU is batting. Get nothing, but man, the 8th inning came around, boys, and Peyton Graham, who's got to maybe be the hottest college softball player right now, who plays shortstop, baseball. Sorry,
whatever works.
Playing shortstop for OU, comes in the 8th. He's already got a guy on, launches an absolute bomber into the OU bullpen, ties
Smacker.
it up 3-3. We get a couple more people on base, hit a couple more singles down the outfield, increase our lead to 5-3. We bring in our closer into the ninth, get a strikeout, give up a home run to probably the best guy in Florida. So it ends up being 5-4. Strike out the last guy for the win. And that is it, baby. OU is heading to the Super Regionals, playing against Virginia Tech this weekend, who's number 4. So they will go to Blacksburg, Virginia, and play a 2 out of 3 series for the Supers.
So Mason, any of y'all who know this, has anyone watched Virginia Tech? Are they like really good?
For those of you who don't know, I worked in Roanoke, Virginia for about 6 months and was sort of involved in covering the Virginia Tech athletics program. And I still am in communication and follow people who follow their program on Twitter and stuff. And yeah, dude, they're a pretty good team. They got some stout pitching. They have some timely hitting, but OU, there's something to be said about baseball teams, and the hotter team usually has that it factor. And that's kind of what matters. It's like hockey, Matt, with a hot goaltender. Like those teams are usually the teams that play well. OU's just freaking on fire right now. And Virginia Tech is number 4 in the nation for a reason. They should be, but why not at this point? Like why couldn't they? Like
let's
2
get
out
to
of
Omaha,
3,
baby.
Yeah, 2 out of 3. Why couldn't they? They absolutely could, especially with how good they're hitting right now. 100%.
Yeah. And especially for the bat for Peyton Graham. He had a grand slam against Liberty. He had a home run in the first win against Florida. And as he was going by the first baseman, giving a little smack talk. And then obviously in the last game, they're jawing back and forth. And he comes back with a game-tying home run. I mean, absolutely clutch in the 8th inning of an elimination game.
That dude.
The boys got swagger. There is absolutely no doubt about it. So they will play this weekend against Virginia Tech. So good luck to the boys. They are on fire. Hopefully they can continue that moving forward. But now I got to come on, guys.
Give it to me.
Let's do it.
OU women's softball. Guys, what can be more said?
Okay, before you go, I have to say this because I said it on record. I called them frauds.
You did.
After they lost. I said they could be. I didn't say they were. I said they could be the F words, and that's frauds. And they responded by winning like 16 or whatever to nothing
15
or whatever.
0.
Yeah, 15.
I mean,
so
it's the biggest win in
the all-time terrible take. All-time terrible take by me. All time. But credit to me for coming out and saying it.
Hey,
True.
you're
True. That
owning
was
up
brave.
to it. You're
That was
owning up to it.
That's right.
I'm proud of you.
Sorry, I'm sorry,
Absolutely.
Jocelyn Allo. Go ahead, Matt. Sorry, buddy.
No, you're good. Hey, it takes a big man to admit when he's wrong. And you were definitely wrong about these girls. They have responded in a hell of a way. I mean, first game in the regionals, they played Northwestern. They're actually down 1-0 in the 3rd inning. They come back with 2 grand slams, ending up winning 13-2 in that first game. They come back the next day. They got to play Texas. They beat them 7-2. They got to wait on a double elimination game. They lose the first game to UCLA. UCLA had to win to force a double elimination game. They come back after that game, guys. I watched it. They lose 3-7. The girls look bad. They almost look like very similar to what happened in OSU. They couldn't get the bats going. Pitching was off. Just bad. They had 30 minutes to regroup for that elimination game. Guys, they came back, and like we already mentioned, they put a whooping on them. It was not even close. Like Ryan mentioned, largest victory in the World Series to date. 15-0. Allo, guys, I can't say enough about Allo. What an incredible year, guys, in an elimination game. She goes 4 for 4. She has 2 home runs, and one of them was grand slam. She had 7 ribbies. Mason, what's a ribby?
I was muted. RBI.
7
RBI. Runs batted in.
RBIs alone by herself. I couldn't have come up with a more clutch performance in an elimination game your senior year against a blue blood program in UCLA.
Credit to Eddie Radosevich, who said on Twitter that it's arguably the best performance any OU athlete has had in a big game like that, like ever. And I agree. Like,
I would like to say that what's our pitcher Hope,
Trotwine.
Yes,
Gotta
thank
give
you.
credit.
She was fantastic in
She
that
was.
game. Also, like without her, I mean, yeah, I don't think we would have lost. The bats were just going, baby.
Mhm.
But she put up a hell of a game too.
Yeah, Nicole May is the one who started the first game. She definitely struggled. They just got on her changeup. That's her pitch. They got on it early. You could tell she's getting a little frustrated, but Hope came in that second game and really shut him down. And Patty Gasso said, Jordy Ball is ready to go. We're going to need her for the Champ Series for at least one of the games. Hope's going to have to pitch one. Jordy's going to have to pitch another. I don't know if Nicole May's got that confidence after that game to UCLA. She just doesn't look right. At least Hope and Jordy have it going on right now. But guys, they had another doubleheader, Texas OU or OSU. Texas had to force an elimination game or a double game. They ended up doing it. Guys, what happened to OSU? I mean,
I got something. When you're
just
done,
send a tweet.
when you're done, I'm about to go in on OSU.
Oh,
so just finish.
I wanted to bring it up. Mason, go ahead. It was
OSU fans in my mentions. I want you to listen to this right now. You cannot claim for your entire existence how we're so good at the other sports that matter. There's other things that matter besides football, and then choke like you did against Arkansas in the regional that you hosted in baseball, and choke like you did against Texas in the Women's College World Series, and then come back to me and say, oh, well, we still want Bedlam. No, you don't get to do that crap. You guys choked. The poke choke was in full effect. You're frauds, capital F. Get out of my face. I don't want to hear it anymore. You had Arkansas dead to rights in Stillwater, and you blew it. You blew it big time. OSU softball frauds. They've been frauds from the jump. That Big 12 tourney title means absolutely nothing. Congratulations. Go hang it next to your 1947 national title. That doesn't count either.
Yeah. Have fun going to
Football
Stillwater,
stadium.
especially with that. Guys, and it wasn't like even Texas won that game. It was OSU softball.
No, they
the
completely
Cowgirls
lost it.
completely choked. Guys, that one play where it gets hit out in the
It's so
outfield.
bad.
The girl throws it to the infield. I don't know who catches it. I don't think it's the pitcher. It might be the second baseman. And I don't know what she's doing. The girl wasn't even near second, and she threw an absolute wild pitch all the way to the back fence of the outfield. I mean, it wasn't like even Texas earned that victory. They just, OSU let it go right between their hands, which is who I wanted to play in the finals, because that's the one other team that had beat OSU. Obviously, we beat Texas earlier in the regionals, so it was a little bit of a revenge tour, because the four teams that were left in the playoffs, the only three teams other than OU have actually beaten OU in the regular season. So we don't necessarily get the chance to redeem ourselves against the Cowgirls. But guys, we're going to the Champ Series for the third straight year. We're playing Texas in a red rivalry shootout. And that will be coming up, I believe, starting
tonight.
Is it tonight? Yeah, tonight.
Yeah, Wednesday.
So,
That's right. I love it.
Last thing I'll mention about this: three of the last four teams were Big 12 teams. When we go in the SEC, I mean, at least they'll have some representation.
Well, you also know baseball. The only two Big 12 teams that are in the Supers are OU and Texas.
Bang, bang.
So 5 SEC teams.
Looks like
in the
the
Supers.
SEC made the right choice
That's how
there.
we do it. This is an all-time Circle the Wagon segment. All-timer.
Yeah,
All
this was
time.
great.
Great job, Matt. I loved it. Loved every second of it. Let's get to some NFL news, and then I want to get Patrick's hot take all the way from Mexico. I bet it's firing hot out there in Mexico. I can't wait to hear it.
Muy
Ryan
caliente.
Fitzpatrick, after a long career and a long beard, Fitzmagic is done, quote unquote. I don't know if he will be. I guarantee you they'll get to week 8 or something, and some quarterback's going to be injured, and they're going to need an emergency guy to come in, and Ryan Fitzpatrick will be a guy somebody calls. He'll stay in shape.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Matt.
I was just going to say one thing I wanted to see. I had a question I didn't want to put in the outline, so you guys prepare for it. But I want to know who can name all the teams that Ryan Fitzpatrick played for. He is what we call the journeyman of the NFL. Would anyone like to take a stab
So I got
Let's try it.
So I got Bills, Dolphins, Jets, Texans. And I'm forgetting now. Commanders 5. That's all. That's all I
played
got
for last season.
Commanders.
Yeah.
So you got 5 of them so far.
I wasn't trying to get canceled.
So you played for 9. So there's 4 more teams.
9.
Gosh, dude.
Did he pay for?
Did he hop on the Browns for a second?
No.
That's a good guess, though. Browns take pretty much anybody.
Why not?
Was he on
Deshaun
the
Watson.
Titans?
Titans.
He was on the Titans.
That's correct.
Yeah, that's 6. 3 more
Bengals?
teams. Bengals was not. Yes, Bengals was his second tenure.
Okay.
Who
There you go.
drafted Ryan Fitzpatrick? Does anyone know? That's the one. That's the one of the 2 teams we're missing.
Steelers.
Colts.
No.
People are just throwing.
I knew
out
no.
Eagles.
so
Like
confident about the
he was like
Steelers.
mainly an AFC guy, right, Matt? Like he didn't really like go outside the AFC, really.
Correct. So he got drafted by the Rams. They were the St. Louis Rams.
I knew that.
Yeah, before went to the Bengals, Bills, Titans, Texans, Jets. He was a Tampa Bay Buccaneer for a little bit.
That's
right
the famous
before.
photo where he's like
Right.
he put on
Yeah,
Deshaun
the
Jackson
chain.
stuff.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then the Dolphins
Yeah.
and then the Commanders. So
Okay.
a historic journeyman for Ryan Fitzpatrick. I don't doubt that someone would offer him some money if they needed to with injury.
For sure.
He'll be
fact.
back.
I think
Absolutely.
he has had literally the best job anyone could ever
Oh, yeah.
have in the world.
Oh, yeah,
Being
dude.
the best second string quarterback that's always reliable and will always get called on by every team.
He's a Harvard graduate. He's smart
Yeah.
as shit too.
Oh
So-
yeah, he'll do.
Question
he'll-
for you guys.
Oh. Okay.
Ooh.
How many teammates do you guys think Fitzpatrick has had throughout his career?
Oh,
Ballpark.
dude, I don't
No,
know.
it's
Like-
855 or 56.
Yeah, okay, again, I saw the tweet.
Again,
So
sorry.
Fitzpatrick's
ruined it.
son, yeah, Fitzpatrick's son and him made a collage of like every single name he's played
Yeah, I
with
saw
in the
that.
NFL, and so there's 856 names on the collage.
That's
Pretty cool.
crazy.
Pretty cool.
That's
it was like a thank
that-
you.
That's
collage.
insane. That's insane.
That's
Imagine trying to remember 856 names.
That's why I wrote them down. Because it doesn't.
He's a smart guy. He's got a big brain.
He's got them all memorized.
big brain. All right. Kyler Murray back at practice for the Arizona Cardinals. He was seen thrown around with Hollywood. So, and he posted, I think it was some to Instagram about working out. Was that like today or yesterday? I don't even know. The
Last couple
algorithm,
of days.
the algorithm is so messed up. Like it just
Mhm.
shows you stuff from days ago. My Twitter is a nightmare. Like, dude, I have tweets from like 18 hours ago coming at the top of my feed. Like that's
I changed my
Unacceptable.
settings.
I need to do that because it's
I
Elon.
need to do that too.
Elon,
help
fix that.
us.
Yeah,
Elon,
he
help us.
actually tweeted about the settings. That's why I changed them.
good, dude. It's
He
gone.
also might not be buying Twitter anymore. So
really
to be determined on that.
Oh, wow.
TBT.
Okay.
Yeah, it's TBT.
Okay. You guys-
Glad the boys are back together though.
Yeah,
It's a good sign. It's a good sign for the Cardinals, right?
Yeah.
That he's back in camp. Hopefully talks are going well. I assume they're going to give him the money. Just
They're-
what is it at the end of the day?
You're right. So, anybody play Madden growing up?
I mean,
Yes.
every day.
Yeah.
He was a big
played-
Madden guy. Mark Hall.
Mark
Too
is
bad
a
he's
big
not
Madden
here.
guy.
Mark is a big.
Mark
big
is a
Madden
big
man,
Madden
dude.
guy.
I've
So-
beaten Mark. I'm so glad he's not here to defend himself. I've beaten Mark and Madden more than he's beaten me.
Really?
Is
I
that
think
right?
so.
We're gonna have
He
to get
doesn't
Mark
think
on
so,
it.
but I think so.
You don't think so?
Okay.
No,
Well-
I'm actually relatively good at Madden. There's 2 plays I run. If you're not running the right defense against me, you can't stop it. And only like really good Madden players know that defense. So yeah,
Okay.
it's typically how I won.
Okay. Rest in peace, John Madden. He is on the cover of the game that bears his name after passing away this past year. So he is on the cover. John Madden, RIP. Akeem Hicks to the Bucks. He's a former defensive lineman for the Bears. He will join the Bucks and Tom Brady down there in Tampa.
It's a good
Aaron
move for them.
Donald. Aaron Donald. That's massive news. 2 years, $60 million extension with the Rams. That's crazy.
He was never going to retire.
No.
He just got paid.
Yeah. No way he would retire. You're telling me I got to make $30 million and I'm still like at the top of my game? Yeah. Okay.
Mm-mm.
Yeah. I'll go do that.
Mm-mm.
I mean, deservedly slow. I mean, I saw since he's been drafted since 2014, 8-time Pro Bowler, 7-time All Pro, 3-time Defensive Player of the Year, 2000 Defensive Rookie of the Year, Super Bowl champion. He's only missed 2 career games since 2014. Talk about being an Iron Man, and 98 career sacks. Does he deserve it? 100%. I even saw him on a podcast the other day. I forgot who he was talking to. I think it was like Brandon Marshall and a couple other NFL alumni guys. And he said he's at peace. Like if he doesn't get a contract, he's okay with retiring. I think after he won the Super Bowl, he kind of came out to realization that he's done everything that he wanted to. And now he gets to be the 3rd highest player or highest paid player in the NFL. That's not a QB. And he'll be probably the highest defensive player of all time paid. So
did you guys see that tweet by Field Yates that like listed off like all his like accomplishments? Errol Donald's, they start like 2014 and it's like defensive rookie of the year, all pro all the way through. And then did you see someone quote tweeted it with so the Field Yates tweet ends with "That's how you get 95 million." And another guy on Twitter quote tweeted it and said Buddy Hield at the top and goes December 2016 rookie of the month, March 2017 rookie of the month, and then it's blank from 2018 and 2022. And it says that's how you make 94 million.
Oh my gosh.
Former OU great.
So funny.
I love Buddy. I love Buddy
Buddy
a lot. Dang it. That's sad. You made me sad, Ryan. That was mean.
It's funny though. It is funny.
All right, Pat. Do you have the hat down there?
Dude, I forgot it and I meant to bring it.
It's Mexico. You need it.
You got to put on something.
I know.
Got to put on something.
It's on me.
All right. Well, hot take of the week time. Patrick, take it away, man.
All right.
I'm gonna eviscerate you right now.
No.
I'm also gonna eviscerate
Last week
you.
went really well, so I was like, I got to bring back the heat.
Okay.
Like I feel like I was down for some episodes. So here we are. Here we go back. My whole life, I'm a huge soccer guy, and my whole life, I've been told if the United States best athletes played soccer, that the U.S. would be one of the best teams in the world, every single World Cup, and I do not think that's true for a second, because what the U.S. population considers best athlete does not mean you would be good at soccer. LeBron James would not be good at soccer. Messi would run circles around LeBron James. So that's my hot take of the week. Even if the U.S. best,
can I go?
best
Can I go?
athletes, yeah, go
Ryan,
ahead.
go
Can I go first?
Can
Can I go first?
Ryan.
I'm gonna eviscerate you here.
Let's do it.
So if we're talking about
Let's do
the best athletes in America decided to play soccer,
Mhm.
they would not be thinking about playing football. They would not be thinking about playing basketball. They would not thinking about any other sport, and they would be training for soccer. When you say LeBron James Messi would run circles around him. Messi's been playing soccer his entire life since he was a child.
Yeah,
LeBron James is playing basketball and football and other
his
things.
stature
like that.
though would not fit the mold of a great soccer player. There's not
Why, because
anyone
he's
whose
tall?
stature is the same as LeBron James
Zlatan.
playing soccer.
Because he's tall.
I mean, Zlatan, but he's skinny and fast and agile.
So would LeBron might be the
LeBron
same
could be
thing
skinny,
if he
fast, and
played-
agile. He put
no,
on
I don't
all
think
that
he
weight.
could.
He put
He
on
put
all
on
that weight to
weight.
compete in the NBA.
No.
Did you see him in high school? He's a stick.
Either way,
Okay.
No, this is a horrible
So-
thing.
he would be like a
Pat.
Peter Crouch, and Peter Crouch played like 10 years at Stoke.
So here's my problem. You think, Patrick,
Mhm.
as a German, a man
Yes.
international who played soccer his whole life, can just walk into the MLB and play in the outfield.
Well, that's true.
but these guys, the best athletes the nation has to offer, if they trained their whole lives to play soccer, they wouldn't be any better than Messi and stuff.
No, I don't think they
Oh,
would.
yeah,
I think
man, I
they can
can't.
compete, but I don't think that would make them better than other countries
No, I disagree
at all.
We have
So,
a much larger population.
Matt,
Sure.
get in there, Matt.
So listen, I'm a soccer guy as well. Okay, I don't
And a
think this
tennis
is
guy.
actually and a huge tennis guy.
And hockey.
I don't
he's a
actually-
nice guy.
Yeah, and Dallas Mavs,
Mhm. Stars, go Stars.
When I'm looking at this, it's a little bit vague because I don't actually think it's a hot take. I don't think Patrick's wrong in the instance that if you took America's best athletes right now, like if you took LeBron James right now, put him in soccer, no way. Now, if he grew up playing soccer his entire life, I have no doubt. There's no way you can transition from one sport to the other.
Sure.
Soccer
I'm
is
not
a
talking about
completely
transition.
different.
I don't think LeBron James would be good if he grew up playing soccer. I don't think he'd be playing.
You put LeBron.
You
put LeBron in the goal box right now. He's the best goaltender in the world.
Make him a goalie
Right
I
now.
love how Gan was like trying to give Pat something like credit, and Patrick just goes, no, I'm not talking about that. I'm not talking about.
Okay. I'll give you this, Gan. I'll give you this. I think wide receivers and like point guards, if they grew up playing soccer, yes.
Yeah, because soccer is
and
just
like
a
maybe
different
corners
type of,
and
it's a different type
yeah.
of coordination, right? It's not with your hands. It's all.
But
about
we don't think about like
waist
corners
down.
and safeties as like the best athletes. Maybe wide receivers, yes, but
yeah,
Wait,
I
what are
agree.
you-
Soccer.
I think corners are arguably they're the fastest.
they're not like the great athletes. Like no one's been except for what's his name? Played for
Jalen
the Seahawks
Ramsey
forever. Yeah.
Oh.
Besides him.
Okay. And Richard Sherman.
Right.
That's who you're thinking of for the Seahawks.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just
But,
think
like-
the phrasing needs to be different. But yeah, you're right. Like no one can transition right now. If they grew up playing soccer, that might be a little bit different. But you can't just put the best athletes in the world. Soccer is a completely different type of game than any other one.
He already clarified the language. He's talking about if they grew up.
I know he needs to
Gan's
change
trying to
still.
help me. I guess.
If we had, I think here's the thing to say: like if America had like zero other professional sports, like most of the world, other than soccer, I think we would freaking dominate.
No.
Patrick, I think we
So no, I don't disagree with that because if we just focus on one thing, obviously soccer would be the epitome of what people grow up playing.
Yeah.
Right. So and then we, obviously, like
Absolutely.
you said, our population of 300 million. If we had however many kids playing soccer, for sure, we would definitely have far superior of a team for sure.
Yeah,
We
but
just
I
have too
also
big of a
think
leader.
that
they're
you,
playing
like-
football, they're playing basketball, they're playing
They're playing other
things.
sports.
Yeah.
Right.
All right. Great job this week, Pat.
Yeah, 2 weeks in a row, Pat.
You're just getting the people fired up. You're getting the
But that's what
I
a hot
think
take
that-
is.
I
That's
think
what a
that
hot take
shows that it is a good hot take. He gets the people
Right.
fired up. You know what I'm saying?
I think it's good. I think it's good.
Yeah, good
Something that's
job,
got
Pat.
me fired up is Ryan's must watches because Under the Banner of Heaven just finished on FX this past week.
Did you like it?
Band is so good.
It was
It's
great,
so-
wasn't it?
It's so good. Let's let Ryan give us something to watch this week. And I'm telling you right now, folks, he's on a hot streak right
I'm
now.
on a hot streak. I'm on
You
a hot
are.
streak. Okay, well, hopefully I don't screw it up with this one. All right, so I'm gonna go back to HBO Max, and which is a streaming service that I highly recommend everybody get. It's got some great stuff on it, and I am gonna talk about a TV show called Hacks, and that is HACKS. It is a 30-minute comedy. It just finished its second season, 8 episodes each season. So guys, you can knock this out in 8 hours total. I guess both seasons you can knock out in 8 hours total. It stars a lot of people that you guys probably don't know, but Jean Smart is like the big name attached to this. She's been in a lot of great stuff. She's in a lot of things, but like I remember her most from Legion, and like a few other things where she always plays like a mom character or something like that. She's hilarious. A actress named Hannah Einbinder, who plays kind of the second lead in this show. And then a bunch of other names that, I didn't know of. So one of like the writers and the creators of this show, his name is Paul W. Downs. He wrote and created Broad City. You guys know what that show is. And he stars in it as well. So what is this about? This is essentially a show about a legendary like Las Vegas comedian who has been like basically doing a residency in Las Vegas for like 30 years, 40 years. And her name is Deborah Vance, and she's very famous, doing like stand-up comedy. And eventually what happens is that she needs basically fresh blood in like her sets because she's starting to get basically aged out of Vegas. And so bringing in Hannah, what is her name? Hannah Einbinder's character. Yeah, her character, whose name is Ava. She is a comedy writer in LA, and she loses her job, and her manager basically takes her and says, "Hey, you're gonna write for Deborah, who is played by Jean Smart." And so it's essentially kind of like a story about their relationship and their like mentorship that like begins with these two. And like Ava's particularly like kind of a shitty character. She just kind of sucks as like a person. And Deborah also kind of sucks as a person. And just like their relationship is very intriguing and very interesting. And guys, this is like the funniest damn show I've seen in like a really long time. It is hilarious.
I'm into
like
funny.
It's like laugh out loud funny sometimes. Just like I'm just sitting there like on my couch just chuckling. And it's like very, very smart and intelligent. And it takes on a lot of like interesting themes of like ageism and like women in comedy and like a bunch of stuff that a lot of people don't think of when they're watching a show like this. I mean, this is an HBO show led by Jean Smart in a comedic role. And like, they don't make a lot of stuff like that. And this was like specifically written for her to be able to do this. And it's just like, I don't really want to give anything away, but it keeps you on your toes. It does a lot of interesting stuff. The relationship between the two leads is just hilarious and just does so many cool things with it that I can't recommend it enough. I will say, you know, I always have a barrier to entry here. And I would say the barrier to entry is like the first couple episodes, it takes some time to like get up to speed and get going, right? But there's a lot of cool things that are happening in this. It's, you know, it's got like 100% on Rotten Tomatoes for the first two thing. It won 3 Primetime Emmys last year.
Wow.
For Smart in the main role. And I think Ted Lasso won Best Comedy, but it won Outstanding Lead, Outstanding Directing, and Outstanding Writing. So really, really great stuff. Really, really funny, and can't recommend it enough.
Perfect. I'm looking it up now, adding it to my list because I need something else to watch. So good job.
And it's
Nice.
also a really great show to just like put on and like not think much about, honestly, too. I mean, it's 30 minutes. I usually give you guys like
that's good.
hour
Yeah,
plus
that's not
shows
bad.
that are like dark. So
Yeah.
I decided to go a little different. And this is like it's like a dark comedy. It's like kind of messed up in certain ways, but it's hilarious. So
I like it.
Yep. Well, Mason, add it to your list, and I still can't afford it. So,
All right.
No, that was good, Gan. That was
All
good.
right, let's get to our PGP MVPs of the week. We'll start with you, Matt Gann. Go ahead, tennis guy.
big tennis guy. Come on, we all know.
Big tennis guy.
We
Now
knew
we
the
do.
entire time.
Now
Yeah,
we
knew
know.
the entire time. Guys, I gotta give it up. Patrick, I know I stole it from you, but
No, I gave it
appreciate
back. I gave it
I
back
know.
because
I know.
I'm gonna
I-
talk. Hey, I'm gonna talk into this one too.
Yeah.
Do it.
exactly. Guys, Rafael Nadal,
Mhm.
God,
one of the
stop
big
that.
4 of the tennis world this past weekend.
What are your 4?
One, Djokovic,
Mhm.
Federer, Nadal, and then the fourth one is kind of like 4A, 4B between a couple different guys like John McEnroe and a couple other guys. But
Andre Agassi.
Agassi, a couple other
Well,
guys.
I mean,
but
I
it's
think
really
we
the
should talk
top
about
3
current players.
I mean, they're all still playing.
Okay.
So,
Go ahead.
anyways,
Come on.
not to. I'm a tennis guy. Come on, don't go.
Are you the tennis
Anyways.
guy? Questionable now.
Nadal this past weekend. Guys, I just want you this number out loud. 14 French Open titles.
It's a lot.
14.
Crazy.
So he's won a total of 22 majors, which is going to be between the US Open, Wimbledon, the French Open, and the Australian Open. He is what we call the king of clay. Doesn't matter his age. As when he steps into the French Open, he is the absolute one to beat. It is incredible. I don't think I've had or I can't think of a more dominant, maybe individual performance at a single event ever. I don't know if you guys can think of anything, but 14 individual titles. That is
The
incredible.
Oklahoma women's softball team. at
Yeah,
the
pretty much.
Women's
That's about it.
College
So I
World
said
Series.
individual, not team, but I do appreciate the effort there. 14 of his 22. He just continues to be the king of the clay. Guys, if you ever watch it, it is phenomenal to watch. He is just as smooth as can be. And clay is known for a lot more spin and the ball to be a lot quicker than grass and the other types of courts. So it's incredible to watch him play. If you got to see it, incredible to watch. Gotta give it up to my boy.
Are there any other kind of courts? I'm genuinely asking. Any other kind of courts besides clay, grass, and hard, like at the U.S. Open in Australia?
I think that's really about it.
That's
yeah.
it.
Okay. All right. Cool.
No,
Just
good
last
question,
thing to
though.
mention, Nadal in the semis, he didn't beat Zverev, the German star. That's why I was curious, Matt, if you're going to mention him. Zverev has been on the up and up last few years. He hurt his ankle during the game against Nadal. I personally don't think he would have beaten Nadal. Nadal, I credit where credit's due. The guy's incredible, but he did beat Zverev off of an injury in the semis.
Okay.
Always an excuse for the Germans. So.
Absolutely.
All right.
Absolutely.
Speaking of that, Patrick, go ahead. Give us
Speaking of Germans, we'll just continue with Germans here. My MVP of the week is Joshua Kimmich, voted Germany's Player of the Year for 2021 this week. Kind of weird that they waited 6 months to give that out, but he's just been the most consistent German national soccer player over the past few years, so he definitely deserves it. Best midfielder in the world, in my opinion. That's not as biased as you would think it is, but that's my MVP of the week.
What's his club?
Munich.
Okay. Cool. Good to know. All right, Ryan, go ahead.
All right, guys. So the last 2 weeks I've talked about Top Gun in certain ways. I'm gonna make it 3 weeks because I gotta give my MVP to Tom Cruise. And okay, I just need to read you guys out some statistics on how well Top Gun Maverick is doing at the box office because it is insane. Like in the first 10 days, Top Gun Maverick has made $295.6 million in North America, $261.6 million worldwide, for a global total of $557.2 million. It is the highest domestic grossing movie of Tom Cruise's career in the first 10 days. The first 10 days. He's been in movies for 4 decades, guys.
Yeah.
And here's the biggest thing for me is that Top Gun Maverick, from its first to second weekend, usually for these huge blockbuster movies, you see a massive drop in the second weekend because everyone goes and sees it the first weekend, right? Top Gun Maverick only dropped 29% from its first weekend to its second weekend. In relation to that, let me show you guys another blockbuster that just came out. The second Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness dropped 67% from the first weekend to the second weekend. And that goes to show you how important word of mouth is for movies, and how if people love it, they will talk about it and get other people into the movie. And I got to give it up for my guy, Tom Cruise. He might be a crazy person in real life, but man, can he make a movie? And we love that.
People love real movies. And I think we need to go back to that more and more. And this proves it. This proves it. Stop with the Marvel crap. Let's make some real movies.
Okay.
I think above all else, Pat, this shows that you need a movie star. You need a movie star in your movie if you want.
Not multiple.
You need a movie star running your movie. People went to see Top Gun not just because it was Top Gun, but because of Tom Cruise.
Dude, people are also on Top Gun. People are swooning over Miles Teller. He just came out of nowhere. The dude has been acting his butt off for 10 years.
Have y'all seen Whiplash?
He's awesome.
Yes, he's amazing.
Good. He's so good.
What's the movie where he's selling guns? That's my favorite movie.
Oh, War Dogs. Amazing
War Dogs.
movie.
Awesome.
Great movie.
He just has a cool personality in movies.
Yeah, dude.
Great stash.
Yeah,
Great stash.
crazy. I'm gonna sound really bad because I don't know the actor's name, but this is the only other way I know it. The black pilot in Top Gun spent some time in Tulsa, Oklahoma. Went to Booker T. Washington High School.
Yeah, he's his name is, I can't think of it. He's in Insecure, the HBO series.
Yeah.
Very good series. Very good show.
All right, who's doing marks?
Let Tyson do it. He's a part of it.
I think I'm a neutral party. I'll go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead.
You do it.
Okay, so what I noticed here, Mark's MVP is everyone who's taking care of Mark's cats this week.
Just
And-
one singular cat.
Just one
Singular
cat.
Sorry, one
Just
cat.
one
Sorry.
cat
A
and
lot of
plants,
people taking
and
care of
plants.
one cat, and I think that includes Ryan Tyson, Ryan Heil, who else,
His brother.
That was
and his brother,
And then
Daniel.
Alex and
Daniel.
Meg are in there too.
and of
Yeah.
course Alex and Meg. My question is, Gan, what do you have against cats? Like, does Cassie
I
not
was-
trust you? at
I
all?
was really hoping this would happen
Man.
because Matt, for everyone who doesn't know this, Mark's girlfriend's name is Cassie, and Cassie's favorite friend of Mark's is Gan.
For some reason.
This is the weird thing.
100%.
For some reason.
And of course, he's the one who doesn't volunteer.
Yeah.
I honestly just the 2 times they mentioned it, just I have things going on. So I just honestly I wanted to
The
trust
time
me, but
slots that were available.
she
for
literally
you.
picked the 2
make it
days
work.
that I have plans already. So
Oh, do
I
you?
didn't want to volunteer and
Yeah,
say,
you
hey,
have
this
plans?
is what I'm going to do.
What
Yeah,
are
not
what
the-
are you
not-
what are you
Not
doing?
the flex. Don't worry about it, man.
What
I just
are
want
you-
to flex.
Don't
Let
want
me
to flex
flex
on
on
them.
you. Let me
Yeah.
flex
No,
on
no,
you.
put it on record. What are you
just
doing
like
these
just how
times?
you flex. You have a girlfriend. How's she doing?
Oh, we're not
How is
talking
Meg?
about me. We're talking about you. What do you
Reversing
got
them.
going? What do you got going
I
on
don't-
a Wednesday night and a Friday night?
Can't tell you.
Oh, it's a
Actually,
Wednesday
it's-
night?
Ooh, wine
Wednesday
Wednesday
and Friday.
and
Yeah, I will
no,
be
Saturday.
For people
Saturday.
who are listening to this on Wednesday, I will be driving to Mark Hall's house and watering the plants and playing with Rayman a little bit.
King.
Praise great.
Shout out to all of Mark's people, not Matt.
Yeah.
All of
Not
Mark's
Matt.
people
Not Matt.
who are
What about
taking
Matt?
care of it.
Fair.
Cassie, I hope you're listening.
I hope you're not.
She's
Don't
probably
listen.
not.
Don't
And
listen.
you hear this. All right. I'll wrap it up. My MVP of the week is the Boston Red Sox. I'm repping my Sox here tonight just because I wanted to prove the point. Listen, dude, the Red Sox were dead in the water the second week of May. They were at 10-19. They were fifth to last in Major League Baseball, one of the worst records in the league. Since then, they have gone on a run of 18-8. They have won 5 straight games. They are now in sole possession of a playoff spot, up from the dead. All of a sudden figured out how to pitch, how to hit, all that stuff. Shout out to the Boston Red Sox for finally figuring it out and playing like the team who went to the ALCS last year. Shout out to them. That's all
What's
I
going on
got.
with these Boston teams and all of a sudden getting it
Dude.
together?
I don't know, man. They're figuring it out. They're waking up. It takes them a second, It's so cold in Boston until like June. They don't
People
really
are
get
so
warmed
mean,
up.
right?
I know they're so grumpy. It's just so grumpy in general. Anything else, guys, before we get out of here?
Yeah, Saban is shaking in his boots and we're stealing his recruits, baby. Get it trendy.
Oh, get it trending, Patrick. I
You've
like it.
been holding that one all
the way
pod.
from
No, actually, I
Mexico.
just thought of that.
All
I'm
the
usually
way
not
from-
that smooth.
all the way from Mexico. I like it, Patrick. As always, be sure to like and subscribe on our YouTube channel, like and subscribe on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, wherever you get your podcasts. Be sure to like and subscribe right there. Also follow us on Twitter at Program Guys with Z, on Instagram and on Twitter, and our Facebook page, Program Guys Podcast. We really appreciate you guys. Thanks for tuning in. We'll see you next week. Pat, take us out.
Keep pushing it, baby.